Welcome to the Whiskey Throttle Media Supercross Preview Show. I'm your host, David Pingree, and I've put together a pretty amazing team of pundits here to walk through this stuff. These are guys that have actually been there and done that. I'm just here to look good. But we've got Grant Langston, Ricky Johnson, and Jeff Emig, multi-time national champions, Supercross champions in their own right. And so nobody better to speak to what we're going to see this season than guys that have actually been there and done that. So thank you guys for joining me.
Of course.
Yeah.
And the 450, we're going to start today's with the 450 show. We will have a separate 250 preview show. But the storyline is pretty obvious this year. Jet Lawrence hurt his ankle, talus, and an ankle fracture. He's going to be out. He's going to miss this entire season. And that really opens up the possibilities for everybody. And I think, Ricky, you kind of gave me a little story before we sat down about that opportunistic mindset when – and I think, Grant, you know what this is about. I think when you won your championship, a certain guy got hurt, and you were like, hey, maybe I can get this done. Anyway.
But it changes
Anybody
everything.
can win.
It changes everything. So way back when, in 1981, Mark Barnett was the fastest guy. I mean, he was unbelievable. He had the perfect bike. That Suzuki Works bike was like 190 pounds. It was just unbelievable. And he was just an animal, so strong, so fast. And I got second to him down to Lake Whitney, and one of the things that intimidated me so much about him is that I was just ripping clothes off, grabbing people's Cokes, dumping it on my head. He has his goggles on his helmet, still has the Jof on, and he's walking casually through the pit, back to his pit. And I'm thinking, I'm a 16-year-old kid. I'm like, I'm never going to be that guy. But going into the last round at Carlsbad, a buddy of mine calls me and says, hey, Barnett powdered his shoulder. He can't be there. You can win. And I literally I'm like, I have a chance to win now because Mark Barnett's not there. When the chance of winning, when the dominant guy, which I don't care what you say, we have so many superstars here, but Jet Lawrence is the guy. I mean, he is just phenomenal. When you take him out of the equation, everybody breathes thinner air. Everybody goes into that race going, I can win. He's not here. I'm not worried about him. He's been the kryptonite for God, spit it out, Rick. Chase. Yeah. Chase is like, when he gets around him, when he's not there, Chase is unbelievable. So is that going to give Chase the attitude that we're looking for, or Eli, or these different guys knowing that he's not there?
Yeah, I think all of them, they might tell themselves they can beat Jet, but I think in the back of their head there's some doubt with every single one of them.
Well, I mean, they can at times, but he's certainly the way that he has been, especially since he jumped on a 450, is really intimidating, and he's been so perfect. I mean, you watch him on the bike, his style and his technique is so efficient and right. So he's the guy that, okay, everybody's chasing. And so once that guy's out, all of a sudden, okay, we're still going to have great racing, but for everybody else, they're like, okay, maybe I don't have to climb up to that high of mountain. I can climb this one, right, which is going to be a little bit easier than what that was. But, you know, that's part of the sport, right, is you have to be there. You've got to stay healthy. And the thing with Jet is he makes it look so easy at times. And especially I put a little bit of thought into this just about, you know, a year or two ago, all of a sudden, oh, he's going after McGrath's records. And I'm like, well, I lived through that time period, okay. And one thing, Jeremy, he rarely got injured, right?
Yeah.
And that is something that is no one is immune to it. And just when you think that there's a guy that's immune to it, you know, Jet puts his leg down. Was that last year or year before? He puts his knee down, boom, just a little boom. And that's all that it takes. And now with something like this, once again, you know, I didn't hear the details of what happened. He might have came up short, whatever, you know, something like that, maybe caught his toe in a rut, something along the lines of that to make that happen. But you realize that no one is immune to those things happening. It's like, think about a couple years ago when Eli Tomac was going to get number 3.
Yep.
He's got a huge points lead, leading the race by a long ways. He's got this thing wrapped up, and he has an Achilles tear. Like, what?
It didn't even crash.
Didn't even crash. You're like, oh, that's when this sport is like, you know, we've all been there. It really is like nothing else. There is no other sport that you can compare it to when it comes to injuries and how fragile we can be as riders.
And you don't have somebody to step in for you this weekend that can go ride for you and take over and get some points and stuff. It's you all by yourself.
It's over before it begins. You know, the one thing that I think of is, you know, Cooper Webb's your defending champion. And it's crazy to say that your defending champion is not the favorite coming into the season. Obviously, everyone knows it was Jet Lawrence. And I think when you look at across all the factory teams, every rider had their focus on Jet Lawrence. Now you take that focus away, and I almost feel like now they're thinking, hey, how is Cooper riding? How is Chase looking? Is Eli really that good? Now all of a sudden it's like, we got to, hey, what are you hearing? Does he look good? But before it was like, what do we got to do to beat Jet? So I think it changes the mindset. And to what you guys were saying, I think all of a sudden there's a lot of guys just beaming right now, going to have a good Christmas going, I can be the 2026 champion. Like, there's no doubt about it. I think you got at least half a dozen guys that genuinely believe they can win this title. And I think
they
before
can.
that, but before Jet got hurt, it was, can we beat Jet?
Yeah. But can Hunter be the one that steps up? Because
I'm curious.
He's so
I
good,
thought the same
right?
thing when I was driving over here.
I think he's in such a unique position, like the dynamics of it being your little brother, and it's like Hunter has been so good, always going to win this race, and then little brother comes in, you're like, what? Because you can't race your brother like you do somebody else. It just, well, I know you're
I'll knock my kid on his ass if I have to.
Did you ever crash your kid out in a truck?
I've ran into him.
Yeah.
Crashed him, but I have.
I think I watched that race.
I've hit him pretty hard. But I will say this: I was at Motocross of Nations, and Hunter looked better than Jet.
Yeah.
And so they go, the practice times. The track for the first session versus the second session was nowhere near. And if you look at Jet's time that he set so high, that was at the beginning of that first practice. That track was wicked, man. Wicked slick because the mini bikes are out there. It just was different than a normal pro track. But we're jumping ahead of your list here.
You guys are screwing me up so bad.
But Hunter looked better than Jet did at the Nations, and I'll stand behind that.
But sometimes I feel like saying, if you're Jet, are you 110% on the limit pushing like it's a championship at Motocross of Nations? It's the end of the season. Some guys get a little burnout. The team had it under control. So I wonder. But back to your point.
Well, and Jet also kind of took one for the team and went to the wide starting gate and let Hunter have the good spot. So there was tactics involved. But, I would agree with you.
Yeah.
From SMX finals, where Hunter looked great and just barely came up short.
Yep.
Again. Twice.
Heartbreakingly. And then the MXDN, he's got some momentum rolling and confidence. And I think he's coming into this year for the first time ever, especially with his brother out, going, maybe it's my time to shine.
And he's going to get all the attention from Honda.
Yeah.
So now before it's almost like you went from being the groomsman and now you're the groom, and it's all eyes are on you. That could be a good thing or a bad thing.
All right, take control of your show, would you?
Yeah, no, Bob, listen, you guys are doing great. I want to just hear your ideas. I kind of broke this into three groups, right? You've got your old guard, you've got the mid-career guys, and then you've got the noobs. And so let's go through them that way. Eli, obviously one of the old guard, and it's a pretty long list of guys who are, you could say they're at the tail end of their career for
long
sure.
Long in the tooth.
Long in the tooth. There's all kinds of expressions we could use. We won't go further than that. But Eli to KTM, he looked good in Vancouver. We watched him at the press introduction out at the KTM track. He looked good. I wouldn't say phenomenal. When he just jumped on a bike, he only had a few days on it. Went to Australia where it was very hard dirt, and it did not look good. They were having some setup issues.
He also had the scoop tire on, which I think was a bit of a
he's so committed to this scoop tire. It's like,
but is that going to be the thing that hurts him? That he's so set in his ways. He wants a cable clutch. He wants to run the scoop. Is that going to hurt him?
Well,
it's a fair question.
I agree with you. I feel that if anybody can adapt and change, it's going to be Eli Tomac. With his dad, John is just, he watches everything, and we talked about, the technique of going with your feet on the pegs, and he was pretty much the one that pioneered that. And that started as a drill that they did on mini bikes back in the day. But I do see that Eli keeps trying to Ricky Carmichael keep bringing a bigger hammer. All right. Jet was right in front of him, and I got to hear it and see it at the Nations. And if you want to know what it feels like to be Jet Lawrence, have you ridden an electric bike, a Stark? Yeah. Have you?
Yeah.
That's what it feels like to be Jet Lawrence. You're always in the right power. You're not spinning the rear tire. You are perfectly everywhere you go. And I'm watching Eli come out wide, come in, what, that big double, at the finish line. He had to go out wide, set up, hammer the berm, and go. Jet just comes around and goes.
But you said Eli can change. I would disagree with that. I think he's like Carmichael. It may not always be the most orthodox way, but it's the way he knew, and he just, like you said, tries to bring a bigger hammer. But again, there's some people that doubt him on a KTM. I do agree he can make adjustments to that team and that bike, but I still think he's going to be on the rev limiter, pounding the same lines. That's kind of his
and
MO.
that goes back to what you were saying about the paddle tire. That paddle tire is great on acceleration. So when you hammer the gas really hard, it's right there. And he prides himself in saying, I'm the one guy that can truly ride a 450 to its full max. Well, if you looked at the motor tracings from Jet Lawrence, he's rarely wide open. And the one time he spins out at Washougal, he said, I asked too much of the rear tire. So that's where I'm getting at. I think he has the ability to change, but will he change? And like I said, he wants the traction, he wants this, he wants that to bring it. So he's going to have strong tracks that he's going to be really fast at, like San Diego and Anaheim and stuff like that, where you can hit the berm and bounce off the berm. But when you get to a point where you got to roll on the gas and slide and stuff like that, or some of the sand stuff where you can't hammer in the middle so hard, I think he's going to have some difficulty. So is he going to win races? Yes. Championship, he's going to have to. You cannot get outside the top 5 this year.
The nice thing is, he's not going to have Jet to worry about, like, I can't give up points to Jet. That was a pressure on all of them, where now he's got, like, okay, I can breathe a little bit. If we need to take a third tonight or a fourth because something's not right, they can kind of take that and fix it during the week and come out. It allows him to be a little more patient, where I think if Jet's in the mix from A1, it's like you have to be on. Right. And that's going to be tough for Chase. It's going to be tough for Eli because you're starting on a new team, and I know they're established teams, but you have no history with this bike with you on it. And Eli has a very odd setup. He's very stink bug. And
what I'm curious is, I mean, it's no secret the KTM is quite a bit different to the especially the Japanese brands. And to me, his style, I always felt like, it suited the Yamaha, a little more rigid frame, kind of a heavier base. The KTM may enable him to do those Cooper Webb type low inside lines, stay out of the ruts in some of the East Coast tracks. I think if he can exploit the differences with the KTM, like you said, some tracks maybe it's not perfect for him, but if he can figure out how to get the most out of that KTM and where it is maybe different or better than the Japanese and other parts of the track, he might surprise us. To Ricky's point, I think then he will win races. And then we all know with racing, you win a couple at the beginning of the season, what's your mindset? I'm winning this championship. So
I got to win.
I think for all these guys, they got to get off to a bit of a foul start. I think it can't be like, well, we missed the setup and we're working on this, because someone's going to get confidence and start basically being Jet.
Yeah, someone's going to claim it. Fro, you okay over here?
No, I'm just listening. Okay. No. I'm just listening and just putting some thought into this, right? As we kind of move to Cooper Webb, right? Reigning champion. He ping here on a thing is you can't count him out opportunistic, and he's probably the guy that I can handle everybody, but Jet maybe just a little bit too quick. But now, so who do I have to race? Well, he's beat everybody.
There's nobody more confident than Cooper Webb right now.
Yeah. I think so. I agree.
Yeah, and it's been really surprising his performance in Supercross. Is able to win 3 titles, but so impressive along the way. And he kind of, was a guy that could win both, motocross and Supercross. But it seems like as he's gotten older, he's like, okay, I'm going to work my ass off for 6 months. And that's where my focus is going to be. And so it's like, can he go to that next level and win another Supercross title, especially with the field that we have here?
So what I like about Cooper Webb is that if he has a bad weekend, he doesn't, he's pissed off. You can see he visually, you can see it, you hear it in his voice, all different stuff, but he doesn't emotionally take him out. He goes back. He's like Jeff Ward. You whip his ass today, he will be stronger next week. He's going to work on his shortcomings and stuff like that, and he's going to use that as motivation to get better and better. He doesn't get defeated. Like we're going to talk about Chase a little later, but he seems like once he gets defeated, the parachute comes out. But when Cooper's having a bad day, he'll go, maybe I'm a 5th place guy. Like I used to hear that in car racing. I had a 6th place car. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
No.
How specific?
Yeah, but in some cases it's very true. But that's where I think Cooper is going to be the guy at the end of the season, just like he was last year, that he's going to just keep chipping. He's just going to keep chipping, and he's going to learn and get better and better.
That's such an underrated skill, to be able to come into a weekend believing you can win, not win, get your ass handed to you at times, and then by the next weekend, you believe it again.
Yep.
Chad Reed was maybe the strongest guy I ever met.
Chad would like couldn't hit his ass with both hands in the heat race, and then he'd line up and he'd go win the race. And you're like, what?
Yeah.
Like if I didn't have a good heat race, it's like, oh, don't even worry about changing the air filter. Like, Jim, do you want to change anything? No.
Can you rebook my flight to leave
Yeah,
this afternoon?
Exactly.
Well,
right.
but the thing with Webb too is, you said he might be a 5th place rider that night, but he's a guy with 5th place speed that somehow is on the podium.
Yeah.
And he's able to do it by being crafty, a roadblock. I mean, he's done it in so many different ways, and you're like,
mentally,
talk about making the most out of every weekend. I think that's what his strength is.
He's more mentally tough than any of the guys on this list right here.
Agree.
If he's in the hunt,
it's next level.
If he's in the hunt halfway through the championship, I think it's hard to bet against him because he's going to beat those guys mentally by the end of the season, I think.
Finger guns and everything.
Finger guns and everything.
Okay, so I think if I'm putting money on somebody right now, which is, I don't know where he's my guy, just because of what we just talked about.
Yeah.
But it's definitely not easy money. Let's go to the next guy, Ken Roczen. He's one of the few guys. He and Cooper Webb, one of the 2 guys here that are not making a big switch. They're on the same bikes. Those bikes haven't changed.
Well, his bike hasn't changed in 8 years.
I wasn't going to do Suzuki dirty like that, but I mean, I'm just.
No, it's not dirty. How good is that bike that it's still
awesome.
competitive?
It is.
Webb's the kind of guy who'll take out Kenny's front tire at the end of the race, and Kenny won't be able to get the bike started, and that'll be it.
He'll just brake check him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good luck starting that thing.
But Ken Roczen, imagine what his career would have been without that wrist injury.
Yeah, arm wrist.
This dude is one
I
of
resemble that.
The elbow.
Well, yeah, you can relate. I mean, but his riding. Some of the times you see him do something, and you're just like, it's Jet Lawrence.
To me, his riding is like timeless. You look at him 10 years ago, 15 years ago, and you look at him now, and you're like, it looks like identical.
He doesn't look
like
old.
Nothing's really changed. Yeah. So that's the one thing that has impressed me is his longevity since the injury. Like I would have thought he would have been one of those guys because of those injuries and all the issues he had. I thought he would have been retired by now. But you could argue, even like in World Supercross, some of those races you watch and you're like, the dude's still got it. Like you can't count him out. The only problem I think that you notice with Kenny, he starts the season off pretty good and then little things happen and then all of a sudden he just fades off that championship leaderboard. And if history repeats itself, I don't see him being in the title hunt, but
winning
who
races.
knows? But I think he can win a couple races at least early in the season.
He was in the mix. Was it Phoenix where he tried to thread the needle through those guys and landed on one?
Yeah.
And that kind of derailed his season. But he was like in the mix there early. Can he sustain that for 17 rounds?
Something seems to happen every year that derails it.
I see him certainly winning a race this year. I mean,
yeah,
possibility.
I agree with you completely. And as I'm going to just agree 100% with Grant is that when you watch him, he hasn't aged as a rider. He looks like a young, aggressive guy. The body position, the attack, the quick bursts in between obstacles and stuff like that. But I don't know. I mean, with what he's had to deal with that hand, I know kind of because I've been through it. When you have that right wrist and it's limited and what happens, I don't know how good he is at the end of the race because you see him, he's in physical great shape. And you watch him, you look at him, he's not tired, but he loses something at the end of the race. Is he just not telling us, I can't hang on anymore? That we don't know that. But as far as speed, going to be there every weekend and potential to win, absolutely 100%.
Yeah.
But it's going to be tough for him with this group because those little crashes that get him sometimes, that's going to bite him.
he's going to have to break from tradition.
Yep.
Yeah.
We'll see if he can do it.
That's pretty much.
Jason Anderson, his new teammate, again making a change, but he is the World Supercross champion. So it sounds like I talked to LB a little bit. He's doing exactly what he wanted him to do, just make progress on the bike, develop as a rider with the bike, and I think they're coming into A1 better than they have in a long time. And I wrote on my notes here, the last couple of years he's seemed more team fried than El Hombre. Yeah. I'd like to see him come back to do you know what I mean? He was badass, on that Husky.
I think he will.
But he's the type of guy that has to be around the right environment too, right? And
he needed
kind of got to let him be
change.
himself. Yeah.
I think this change is revitalized him. I think he also knows that a lot of people are writing him off and saying this is like that last ditch effort to get a ride. So I think he's got people to prove wrong. And I think, to your point, I think the environment that he's in now is more his liking and his style.
Yeah, and Pipes, Dustin Pipes, who owns the team, he told me that their support from Suzuki has stepped up, and even though we kind of joke around about the bike, doesn't have electric start, this and that, but they've taken on a bigger role as far as development and whatnot, and so I think that's good for that team, and they keep kind of, working their way up the ladder, and now they have Roczen Anderson and Colt Nichols.
It's a good team.
All guys that are credentialed. They've won championships before, right? Yeah. So I think it's an interesting place. I think they're one of the most interesting teams out there with the rider lineup that they have, and there would probably be more surprises out of their three riders than any of the other riders that we have on the list.
And the chatter is that
what they say.
They said, I heard from them,
yep,
that part of his agreement is to help develop a new bike for Suzuki. So whether that's 27, 28, I don't know.
Well, and that's the thing, man. Suzuki is an engineering company. They decided to jump back into MotoGP, win the championship, and then leave again. You know what I mean?
that was pretty impressive.
Yeah, that's only right $100 million investment, and
right.
then it's just
so we know that Suzuki with their engineering is unbelievable. So that would be awesome if they would step back in, because right now Suzuki is kind of a ghost town over there. I mean, they're doing their things. Everyone thinks, people in America are so arrogant. They think, Suzuki's going out of business. If you go to India, every other car is a Suzuki. You know how I know? Because I'm right in the front with my Cardo system. I'm like, blue Suzuki, red Suzuki, white Suzuki. And I'm like, holy shit, there's a lot of Suzuki cars out here.
Well, people don't know this. In terms of just overall business size, Honda's the biggest. Suzuki's the second. Yeah. They're bigger than Yamaha, Kawasaki, or obviously any of the other boutique motorcycle brands.
The other thing is for Suzuki, if you really look at it.
Speaking of Honda, Grant, I hear you're expanding.
Oh, yeah.
I heard you're getting a Honda franchise.
How'd you guys hear?
Well, it was just some chatter. They said
it.
Yes, we are. So I'm happy about that, because I feel like it was the one missing piece. I mean, there's no denying Honda is a huge company, a huge brand in our industry. So, yes, I'm stoked to have them coming on board starting 2026.
Because you are the biggest dealer in South Paris, California.
That is correct.
We slay it.
We slay it.
You guys, you sell Yamahas, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, also.
A lot of
the number. No, seriously. All bull crap aside, you're the number one Yamaha dealer in California.
There's a few days left in the quarter, but yeah, we would, if nothing changes, we are. So
if you're watching this and it's the 24th, are we going to air this thing tonight?
It's not tonight. Soon.
So tomorrow afternoon, Grant's going to stay there late on Christmas Eve. They've got a few Yamahas left. You got any other things in there?
Yeah.
You got
Cowie,
KTM,
Suzuki,
KTM,
everything.
Polaris.
Fro might be there in a Santa Claus outfit.
Ask for
Yeah.
You coming in?
I did do
Santa
Santa Claus a couple nights ago. I was Santa.
Well, what I was going to say is with Suzuki,
you're the skinniest Santa I've ever seen.
Yeah, exactly.
Fit, yeah.
For Suzuki, if you look at the industry right now, there's 10 brands involved. I mean, I don't think through any of our lives we've seen that many or that much competition. So if they don't develop or have a reason for people to want to go and get Suzukis, they're going to have to theoretically bow out and just go, this is not a fight we want to deal with. So I think all of us would like to see Suzuki come back stronger, be a team player where people are like, I want to be on that bike. Like, that's the bike to be on.
Well, they have a following. Like, anytime we just finished our shootouts, and there's always comments, well, I still like the Suzuki. And I'm like, a lot of those comments.
Well,
it's surprising.
To RJ's point, in 81, that was the bike to be on. Times have changed a little bit. And then Honda just dominated the 80s into the 90s. We could argue that I think Honda had their finger on the pulse at that time. And then you've seen over the years, there's been these little you know, and then KTM has had their little window, and right now, you guys could argue with me on this one, but I feel like it's probably the closest that all the manufacturers have been maybe ever. There used to be big differences back in the day. Now, even like these shootouts, I feel like guys are having to nitpick. Oh, it's more like I just feel a little more comfortable on this bike, so I'm going to pick it.
They're splitting hairs. A lot of it's the motor, especially on the 250s. The Yamaha's winning because it's got a really strong engine, but all the guys are like, dude, I'm happy on any of these bikes.
Which comes back to, in engineering, you would have thought they would have realized direct ram airflow is the key to performance.
Yeah, so
and
not to get off topic.
No one else has jumped on it.
Not to get off topic, but it really has to say something when you've got all of these manufacturers, Triumph coming in, Ducati coming in, doing the investment to build a motocross bike / off-road bike, because they can take the same platform, turn it into an off-road, a desert type bike, all this sort of stuff. And it's like, is there space for all these brands? Well,
that's my concern.
People that are smarter than the four of us put together are saying yes, and brands like Triumph and Ducati are coming in. KTM Group hosts 3 different brands.
Beta.
I think, yeah.
Well, but on that, because the reason they are is because the older adventure bike rider and stuff, they're timing out. All right, they got to replenish that. And how do you do it? You get the motocross guys buying a dual sport, which I think all of us have one now. I know that's all I have anymore. But you get them going from moto to dual sport to adventure bike to that. So
it's a natural progression.
You got to replenish it, and people are very brand conscious. I like my Triumph. I like my KTM. I like my Kawasaki. Blah blah. So that was a smart move, and the one that's been slow to do it is BMW. So they're just like, nope, we're the kings of the adventure market, and blah blah blah. So, anyways, let's get back on task here. But I think it's awesome that Jason Anderson is that comfortable that fast on a Suzuki, because all these riders, all I hear about is, I need more time. And it's like June. I'm like, how much more time do you need? Like they're still complaining about the bike. I'm like, don't you have like 8 engineers and shop guys and motor guys and you're still complaining about it? But he didn't say a word. He just rode the shit out of it over in Europe.
Well, and it becomes an attitude thing, right?
Yeah.
Like you go, okay, I've been through all these ups and downs, like being grateful for the opportunity and just going, okay, you give me the bike, okay, I'll ride that. I mean, when I left Kawasaki early in 1999, I wanted to ride a Yamaha, and so we worked with FMF on the engine, and I went to Enzo Racing in Ras Maeta. I said, you put the suspension spec on that's going to make it right through the whoops, and I'll figure out how to ride it. And that whole sort of 4 months, I didn't change anything. I didn't test anything, and it was all about like changing my attitude, right, and like maturing. And I think that Jason Anderson has been through all these ups and downs with his career, and there's going to be a little bit of a maturity, and then also just like, wow, you know what? I'm really appreciative to have this opportunity. And the bike's good, I'm just going to go ride it and stop with all the testing. Like, dude, I don't know about you guys, but being out at the Cowie track for 4 years at this time of year was my least favorite. Like, I hated to, like, dude, let's go race. I'm tired of just doing endless laps. And they want to change everything. I don't want to change it. Just leave it alone.
And I think that's some of the problems with guys are like, I'm still figuring things out. At the test track, the track so well, almost any setting kind of works after a while. You've done thousands of laps, and then you're like, I think it's better. And then you go to Anaheim, where, let's be honest, they rush to make the track. At the test tracks, I always call it melting. You know what I mean? Over time, they backblade. There's no 45-degree angle on the face of a triple. Everything is a nice, like, quarter pipe shape. And then you go to Anaheim. I remember having that issue and just G'ing out at the base of the takeoffs going, what the hell where did I go wrong?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, we tested all winter. We do press day at Anaheim 1, first race, so Friday afternoon. We've been working with this engine. I go ride it on the track, and I'm like, this thing sucks, J-Bone. I wanna go back to my last year's engine. They don't even have one built. So poor Jeremy Albrecht had to go back to the Kawasaki shop, and him and Rick Ash had to build a new engine for me Friday night before the first round. And we've been testing this other engine for 4 months.
I don't think you're the first guy that's done something like that either.
That's why they earn their 10% bonus.
Yeah.
Okay, speaking of new manufacturers, let's jump into Ducati. 2 other guys at the tail end of their careers, but certainly good fits for this brand. Ducati jumping in with the TLD team. Justin Barcia, he's broke a collarbone, so he's only going to have about a week on the motorcycle before we go to A1.
That's good. Ouch.
Definitely not a great scenario for him. Dylan's doing all the testing. I don't know. I don't see a scenario where he comes in is great. 1 week on an all new motorcycle is going to be tough.
So if I was that team, I would say, guys, let's get 2 solid top 10s. Like that's the bar right now. So let's go there and see where we're at. Don't say top, because top 5, man. Top 5 at Anaheim is going to be like winning the race, in my opinion. So if I was Troy and Chip Ganassi and all them, I would say let's shoot for top 10s and let's have solid feedback, like what you're saying about what real Supercross is like, where you don't know exactly where it's at and you time it and you don't even think about what you're doing, where you have to figure it out because they shorten up the practices now, so they got to figure out the track that much quicker. So get through Anaheim, both in the main event, which, like I said, this sounds kind of stupid, but that could be a tough task on its own.
Yeah, totally. And his teammates Dylan Ferrandis, I will say he was a little uninspiring last year. He said he was searching for a feel on that Honda that he couldn't get, and this could be totally just baloney. You know, guys in the media interviews prior to the season will say, "Oh yeah, it's bike's best I've ever ridden." Yada yada yada. But he sat in front of us and said, "This Ducati chassis is the best chassis I've ever ridden for Supercross. It's
really?
the feel I've been hunting for. I'm so happy with it. The motor's great. They're working on moving the power down a little bit, but like he seemed really ready to go." And
my one concern a little bit is, and it doesn't matter how much money you have or how big the company you have behind you, this is their first time going into Supercross. And we saw even Cairoli when he did a couple of the outdoors, they had a mechanical. Yes, it was I think electrical or wiring harness or something, but still, that's a mechanical. Are they going to have to have some growing pains? And we know with Supercross too, you have a mechanical at the wrong spot, it can be really
because
bad.
of the risk involved with Supercross. It to me, always having that ultimate confidence and not, like that Chad Reed type, a scenario where it's like, oh yeah, it was terrible in practice, but I'm still going to win tonight, right? To me, Ferrandis this last a couple of years seems like he's really struggled with that belief in himself. Mm-hmm. But we can't forget some of the results that he's had in his career are unbelievable. And he's a guy that if that switch to this new team, the bike's fine, all this, if that gets switched into the right mode, he can ride a bike as fast as anybody out there.
He was unbelievable when he won his 450 outdoor title.
Yeah,
unbelievable.
And it's I seen him at the Alpine
impressive.
Star Party last year, and I'd had a couple of adult beverages.
You did?
Yeah, a couple. And I'm like, yeah, just do what you did then. Like we were kind of laughing about it. Like it comes and goes, and it's like, well, how do I get back to that? It's like, yeah, we'll just do that. And it's like, shit. Because every one of the races that we won were probably the easiest races.
Yeah.
It's hard to not win. Winning is like, oh yeah, everything went good.
Yeah.
Which seems so like ass backwards.
Well, I also think with Dylan, he was invisible. Like the riding gear just had no pop. Like his number wasn't jumping off the plate. He was just there. But where before, when he's on the Yamaha, man, it's like you knew exactly where that French Mexican sounding guy was the whole time. It's like Ferrandis.
Bobby Reagan just signed this Fernandez boy. I'm like, it's Ferrandis.
Well, it's like when didn't you say that Ernesto Fonseca was from Puerto Rico one time?
I did.
Yeah,
because my doctor's
Costa
from
Rica.
Costa Rica.
that's an easy
that's
an
close
easy
enough.
tongue twister.
That's close enough. At least I was in the South Pacific.
What I noticed, was. Especially from living in Europe with the GPs, there's something about the French. If they are happy and believe they can win, some of those guys are phenomenal.
Yeah.
But it seems like if they don't believe, their head's not in the game, then they're terrible. Like there was no in between. Like I saw on certain weekends.
Are the Spanish the same way?
Apparently.
We'll get to that.
Yeah.
But
I saw there were weekends where literally French guy would win the GP, and the next weekend, I'm not feeling it, and no points. I'm like, how the hell does that happen?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I really do. It's great to see Ducati step in to the industry at this level with the racing and make the investment. They've got 2 guys that are highly credentialed, and yes, they're a little bit older. They're searching for some better results, but I really like both of those guys, and I think that on the Ducati they're going to get a lot of attention.
Well, for sure. Every fan that's going to the races is going to want to see it in the flesh too. But the other good thing is, especially like your guys' career, there was mainly 4 manufacturers, 8 factory rides. With everyone now, we got over 20 factory riders, and they take 22 to the gate. So that means on any given weekend, there's probably going to be a factory rider watching the main event.
Sorry, privateers. Better luck next year.
Yeah.
Hey, did any of you guys ever not make a main event?
No.
No, actually.
In the 250 class.
Ping's like, well, yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Wow.
Hey, Villapoto didn't make a main event.
Yeah, no, I was factory Yamaha. I think it was 93 was my first year, or maybe 92, first year that I had to step up and ride the premier class at 250, and I wasn't clearly ready. But I think Anaheim was the second race. We might have went like Orlando, Houston, Anaheim, or something along the way. But yeah, I was factory Yamaha and didn't make it.
Feels good. Huh?
Oh God!
At least I was
came
riding.
really
Such a loser,
close
dude.
in Seattle in the mud. Went down in the heat race, went down in the semi, went down in the LCQ, and I rode out of my skin. I'm terrible in the mud. I power slid through the mud, still did the triple, and then just stuffed Heath Voss right before the finish line. I went straight to the exit of the turn and made it. And I was like, woo! And I'm like, I'm not looking back because I just pissed off a lot of people in the last couple laps. I bounced off everybody.
Hey, LCQ, hey, the gloves are off.
Yeah.
Everything's
I was like, I'm not making the main.
Well, to qualify it, the only 125 man I didn't make was my very first one, and my mechanic left a rag in the airbox before I went up for
that's
the
that's a lame
way.
excuse.
Okay.
no way.
The other one was Tempe Supercross at 97. I was riding for Mitch on the east, moonlighting on the 250 on the west coast. And I was in the qualifying spot, and Jeff Matasevich blew me off the track. Just
That sounds like chicken.
to the moon. So, thanks, chicken.
Well, and then you also, like, Phoenix area was it was
had a
always
lot- I had a
really
lot of
exciting.
problems
That's
there.
where
Yeah,
they had
yeah.
the old bike break, but you didn't ride the rest of the night, right?
They
didn't-
sent me to the hospital. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know how many people think
And
that was
him
me
and
that
the
the
bike.
bike snapped? They're like, dude, I was there when your bike snapped. I'm like, no, that was Ping.
Yeah,
No,
that
I
was
was
it.
there. I'm like, no, trust me.
That was wild, dude.
It was Ping.
And that's one of the things that we've all been there, and it's like, what gets sort of underestimated, and we kind of take it for granted in the world we're in, but it's like, man, there's some risk involved in this. And and that's why riders, we can be so mental, and this confidence thing that we talk about, like getting that confidence and the belief, and then also having like short-term memory where you don't remember anything, you don't remember any of the bad, you just go forward, right? And now it's like, I mean, Ralph and I were doing Monster Energy Supercross. We were at Indy one year, and we're walking around the track doing like practice. And I look at Ralph, I go, this is nuts, dude. This sport is so crazy. And he goes, yeah, this is what you did. I go, man, there's got to be a better way to make a living, right? Like, this is nuts. And even now, like with the horsepower and the performance of the bikes, and you sit there and watch, it's like this quad, this, do that. I'm just like, oh man, I'm so glad I'm retired.
Well, yeah, you got rods in your back. You got a fused wrist, 2 fake knees. You
I
guys-
just broke everything. But
You came out pretty clean. I'm about to get a knee replacement. You don't have any, like...
Dude, I got arthritis in my right hand, my right
That's from
ankle.
other-
my
that's
blood.
from-
I'm left-handed, Pingree. And my girlfriend loves me. I'm okay now.
Okay, good. Hey, before we get into our mid-career guys, next phase of this, I want to thank our sponsors. We got some great people bringing you this show, including El Jefe Energy.
I got to try one of these.
They're
Baja
amazing. You guys are going to see these guys everywhere very
soon.
soon.
Do you have a favorite? Is
The Killer Peach, but I don't have one. These are both good. Yes, tastes like an
Zuma
orange Fanta.
watermelon?
It's
Orange
amazing.
Fanta, El Jefe. I love the name, by the way.
Super
How
company.
do you would? That's
Yeah,
that-
yeah,
yeah.
you,
El
can,
El
you can
Jefe.
have this
I
on
need to
across
give
the
him my
back of your
address.
pants.
That's right. That's right.
Also, big thank you to Rockform. Phone cases,
Ooh, let me
magnetic
see that
phone
thing.
mounts, the speakers, all kinds of stuff. Great company.
Ping's giving us all a goodie
Everybody-
package when we leave.
I do. I've got some.
Every
If
one
you-
of his-
nice.
If you have an iPhone
I just
16,
got a new iPhone. 17.
17. I don't have anything for it.
look at
But I'll
this.
get you some. Pro Circuit.
We'll work on some
I
R&D.
think we've all ridden for Pro Circuit at one time or another. Big
Yep.
thank you to them. And also Troy Lee Designs and ODI. I want to thank those, one of
Oh,
Jeff's
yeah.
ambassador companies. And lastly, I just want to thank
Look at that thing.
Rick for coming on. And
Thank you.
you are doing something really cool. Is Rick Johnson Experience?
Yeah.
Is what you call it? Yeah.
Let's call it the 5-star because I was number 5. It's going to be 40 years. This is the 40-year anniversary of Bailey's and my race. I hear about it from every drunk old guy at the race. Hey, remember 1986? Yep, I do. I was there. But no, so we wanted to put something together, and I really want to thank the people from Feld. They worked with me on getting tickets. I had to buy them, but working on getting tickets, pit passes, and also track walks. So we got some great people. We got reserved seats, and also I'm going to have a little place for them to have lunch during the day. But it's a way to kind of go, like, give them the backstage pass.
Yeah.
And so I'm working with the guys from Rugged Radio, so it's going to be cool because it's so loud. I'm sorry, but you can't hear the announcers. You hear the bikes, you hear the music, you hear all the stuff. So we got headsets and microphones, so our group of 24 people can all talk back and forth.
That's right.
I got to teach.
that's cool.
I got to teach them how to not interrupt. So it's going to be like, hey, give me a sign. But it's going to be pretty cool that they get that kind of experience. Like I said, we're going to get to hang out, have lunch. When you guys are there, come up and say hello. It means so much to these people because, like, we're tainted. We've lived in the sport, but when these people, I got them come from New York, England, Washington, all over the place, and they're just like, oh man, I can't wait. This is going to be a very, very cool deal. So I'm stoked about it. We still have a couple spots left for Anaheim 2. We're not doing San Diego. I'm accepting the award with my teammate for the truck championship that we won again this year. So I won't be for that.
Humble brag.
So if I wanted to find it, what's the website for it?
RickyJohnson.com.
Okay, and then so I go on there and I want to buy a ticket. What's this experience?
The experience
gonna
costs $450, the same as the experience
bad at all.
that Feld offers. And so, but we're setting up to where we're giving them a little bit better food and also the reserve seat.
Man.
I got them right up next to the knothole. So I'm not going to tell them the number because it's my favorite section. It's that top row right next to the knothole. So there's a beer garden behind us.
I know where
The
it
bathroom is right there. The knothole's to the left and the tunnel's down below us. So it's kind of like the most quiet spot. The only thing is if it rains, but we're in the top row so I can bring umbrellas. So we're going to set them up with snack bags and different stuff and then set them up there to have this experience so they can hear myself and Mike Webb. I can talk to him. Okay, besides trying to look cool in your manager's box, what are you guys doing? You guys will have radios, but how much can they get on the chalkboard? Things like that. So give people a chance to look behind the curtain.
Well, at $450,
awesome.
that's only a couple dollars more than a regular seat price.
And
anyway.
there's going to be somebody out there, some wife, girlfriend, father's like, wow. They're going to watch the show tomorrow.
Yep.
And be like, dude, this is the last second Christmas gift. I can buy it, print it out.
He is Santa Claus.
Gonna Langston Motorsports at
Christmas
7 p.m.
morning,
just to hold us
Christmas
there.
morning, you open up the envelope. Wait, the Rick Johnson experience? I'm going to Anaheim.
Jeff
too?
Emig doesn't work for free. He's going to expect 10%.
Yeah, no, I
every
understand.
ticket sold.
Hey, the 15-year-old me still would be like, no way we are sitting here and that we're friends. After watching him and David go out and just going, wow, that's what I wanted. I want to be that. I want to do that someday. Yeah.
But that's the coolest thing is that, I had the same with Roger and Bob and Weiner and all the guys before me, is that we all looked at it and how the sport evolves. Like when they say nothing against Ricky, but when they, I heard. The guy from F1 say, I don't like when they say the GOAT. Is he the best of all times? Because you can't compare driving styles, like Juan Manuel Fangio. Yeah. No, I mean, he had on a little helmet,
little leather cap.
T-shirt, no power steering, nothing. It was a completely different race, and it's changed and all the different stuff. And it's the way history's supposed to be, that each guy is the king of his time. But what I was getting at is that having to look up to people, and then you get to meet them. Like when I got to meet Roger, and then I got to work with Roger, and stuff like that. So thank you that I was a little bit of an inspiration to y'all too. I mean, that makes me feel good because that's what
I was a Cowie kid at the time, and I wanted Wardy to win.
Sorry about
that. I wore Sinisalo. But yeah, it's I say it all the time. It's like of everything that this life and this career has brought me, it's like the fact that I am on par and friends with all of my heroes. Yep. And, whether we work together, it's like, man, I got every Supercross champion's phone number that I could text them and be like, what's up? Except for maybe Jet. But it's like everyone. Yeah, and cool. It's like it's almost surreal that, we grow up just looking at magazines and like, oh, this. And then you have this career and it's like, wow, here we are. So
here we are.
It's like Christmas every day with you guys.
And talk with me
I did
today.
not think that. I never thought that I'd be sitting next to Pingree doing
Sometimes
a season
dreams come
preview
true.
show. They
Dreams
do.
come true.
They do.
It's Christmas miracle.
Hey, speaking of, I'm sitting here looking at these notes that Pingree made, and we were sitting there talking about KTM. Why do we not have Aaron Plessinger on this?
Yeah, we do. He's right there.
Not on my sheet.
He's not on yours?
Did I get the?
Oh,
I didn't get the right draft.
what you got?
I'm like, how you leave the cowboy out?
I printed out
He's
four.
right here.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, I
weird.
got it.
Is it on mine other than where I wrote it
Yeah,
in?
it's right there.
Because
You wrote it there.
Plessinger is one of the a crowd favorite. You know, every now and then he has these nights where he's just like unbelievable, especially where he almost won his first race. I was so stoked that he finally got a win. But like, is there anybody in the paddock or on the track that is more liked
No.
than Aaron Plessinger?
Absolutely.
Maybe Eli. Eli gets a lot of cheers, but no.
But not- no.
He's a fan favorite. You're
It's
right.
different.
We had him on the
It's like a
Toyota.
different fan.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Like,
Yeah.
Plessinger gets everyone like riled up. I think Eli has the respect, especially
Sure.
of the older
Yeah.
generation.
Yeah.
It's like, man, that's a working class man right there.
He brought something up at the press conference that
Who?
Aaron Plessinger.
Okay, got it.
That this year there's more open air stadiums than in any other season.
So he's stoked. He's
And
looking
he
for
just he
rain.
did one of these. He's like, you know what that means, you know. So his home right now they're racing in Cleveland this year. Chances of rain in Ohio pretty high.
Yeah.
You know, Pennsylvania. There's a lot of opportunities for rain, and there's nobody better in the
Seattle is early.
Yeah, I know.
I was
So it's
like,
gonna be
I was
wet.
just looking at the list earlier, not the list, the schedule, and I was like, whoa, Seattle, like early February. I was like, shit.
That's almost guaranteed to be a mutter.
Yeah.
Well, you know, one of our Anaheims or San Diego, we're going to catch rain. This is our rainy season, so I think we're going to see a good season out of him. He talked a little bit about it. In
His problem
press.
is he has these like throwaway races.
yeah.
Go look at every year. He like one weekend he wins. You like, okay, you got that breakthrough, and then it'll just self-destruct, and that's always hurt him in this 450 class championship. So hopefully he can figure that out.
He
He
says
needs the
his-
consistency.
His issue is confidence. That's what he said
Yeah.
he struggles with. He doesn't really, up until this past year, when he kind of was into a hole and then kind of broke through, he goes, I just didn't believe I belonged up there. And he goes, I finally am to a point I think I belong. So
Dude, he turns 30 in January. He's 30 already.
Yeah.
it's crazy. Let's talk about Chase Sexton. We kind of skipped over him. This is obviously one of the biggest changes of the year. Of course he'll be fast. He's always fast. But again, new bike, new team. This team has not had a lot of success.
It's because the bike's slow.
I don't buy that. I listen but I am curious because you can go back to a pretty long list of guys since RV, and Eli won on it a little bit, but
It's been a rough road.
it's been a rough road. Why?
I don't know. Even Mitch Payton's had a rocky road with injuries and all that. I don't know if there's a bit of a dark cloud hanging over the green team, but I don't believe in all that kind of stuff. Sexton can come in. You said you're going to put your money on.
I think Webb. I mean,
I
I can't count him out. He's so crafty.
I think I'm going to put my money on Sexton.
yeah, smart money.
Why?
I think for Chase, I think he has a chip on his shoulder, like he believes can be the best or be the champion, and I feel like every year people are like, "Ooh, Webb's the guy, Eli's the guy, Jet's the guy," and I think he feels like he's got something to prove, and then you switch teams. He's been Honda, he's been KTM. This is his third switch. He's got to make it happen, and I think he especially with Jet out, I believe he's the guy that has the talent, the mindset. Like he always, if you talk to him, I feel like he genuinely believes that he can win every championship that he lines up for. And some guys are like when AP says, "Oh, there's more open stadiums." I don't know if I like that comment because it's almost like I don't trust myself indoors, but I'm hoping for mud races and this will get me in the mix. You don't. So that to me still means he's not 100% mentally committed there. But I think Chase, he's a little quieter. He's a little elusive. Even from the media standpoint, you don't really know. He seems very vanilla. But he almost reminds me of like a Formula One driver or a MotoGP guy. There's pressure, but they hold everything in. They contain it well. And I just think that there's nothing wrong with the bike. There's nothing wrong with the team. And I think he's going to go there with people going, ooh, how's it going to be? And I think he surprises people.
Yeah, I want to ask a question here. I'm going to talk to the most experienced member of the panel here with Rick Johnson. Why does Sexton have these little meltdowns and little falls and stuff? Like last year,
Brain farts.
the night before Super Bowl, I'm at a friend's house down in Yorba Linda, and Sexton's got a 6-second lead, right? It's like Sexton's going to win this. They're like, Mookie's on the move. And I'm like, Malcolm Stewart is not going to win this race. Sexton is out front. And then it was like,
Right.
and you're like, what's going on there?
So I think there's a couple things. One is he has this thing where a lot of people say he looks down at the ground because his head is like this. And he says, well, mechanically, this is wrong for you to arch your head back because it pinches your neck and da-da-da-da. But every time he rips his visor off, he comes from last to first.
Oh, so he needs to start without a visor.
Well, I'm not, but I'm just saying.
That would be funny if his mechanic's like, good job, just
no,
punch that thing off.
But to think about it, if your head is down, you don't see so much. I know when I'm driving a truck, when I drive like a side-by-side, I see everything. And I get my truck and the hood's all big and it messes me up. I'm not used to it. So there's an adjustment period there. I think there's some stress between him and his father is a very dominant man, very, very strong. And when you have that, maybe it's that fear that I don't want to let that person down or let somebody else down. When that gets in your head, and then what I call it is, I used to say this to Tortelli because I did it many a times, don't count your money. Okay, we've all done it. You're out in front. You're like, dude, I'm going to make this much from them and this much from them, and I'm going to go buy a new stereo for my car, blah, blah, blah. And boom, you're down, and you like lose that bonus and all the different things. And now you're, oh, man, my dad's going to be pissed off at me. My mom's going to be upset. My friends are, all these things get into your head. So I truly believe that Chase is one of the best riders to ever ride.
Yeah.
When he is on, he does stuff so fluid. Looks like David Bailey, just like the picture right there of David. Same numbers, that 23, and just so great. But then just to crumble, it takes a little bit. And I think the problem, why I disagree with you, Grant, is that the people that have left Kawasaki say they're very rigid. They don't want to change. And that's what Eli said.
The team is very rigid. We've got the setup. You just go ride it.
I agree
John
with that.
John wanted to do stuff and Eli wanted to do stuff, and they said no. And that was why they said they left. Now, to a rider like Chase, if he's on or off, you got to be able to make those adjustments and also adapt. I mean, they did a lot of work. The things that they did at KTM to make him happy, and I have to say, that was the best-looking bike I've seen in a lot of races. It worked phenomenal. So I think it's in his head. He's not thinking about every turn. He's thinking about getting to the finish line and cashing that check.
He's kind of getting out of the moment and sort of looking.
Yeah,
exactly.
So I feel like there's a little bit of parallels with Eli Tomac early in his career and Chase also.
Agree.
And so I just looked it up. Chase just turned 26, right? So
still young.
But a little bit more maturity. Because, I was calling the races a lot of time where Eli would go blow everybody away at like St. Louis, who wins by like 30 seconds, and then the next week, not. And is there any do you think that there's a parallel with being able to handle the championship pressure? Because I know Eli didn't like it when I said that early on. He certainly made up for it, and he should have 3 titles, but he's got 2 titles. Mm-hmm. And once he matured, all of a sudden, some of these issues that he had of these random falls and little mistakes started to disappear. Do we feel like that Chase Sexton's in a place where he can limit those mental mistakes or whatever's happening? Right? Only he really knows. Right? We're trying to analyze it here, but is the change in his age gonna?
I think something you said was interesting is that his dad is a very strong person, very vocal person, and it's still his practice mechanic. He's very involved in Chase's life.
Oh, really?
Career.
Yeah.
And I mean,
I disagree with that.
All respect to your father 100%. And what he's done to get you there. Now's the time to step back and let the professionals at the race team, trainers, whoever.
My brother-in-law was mechanic for Chase for many years. And he said, family want the best for the kid. Like it's not in that aspect. It's overstepping the boundaries or causing some tension, yelling at engineers or things. There's a way to do things, and a mechanic can say, hey, he really come on, like that. But when a dad comes in and you mother, blah, 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 it puts everyone on the back foot. But my last thing to add with Chase is he's got to learn that if he gets a good start and he's leading and someone's faster running him down, that's when he seems to make mistakes. You can almost see the panic set in, like, oh, I'm going to get past. Like, we all know, taking a second, a third, even a fourth, it's not the end of the world. And I think that's where Chase has struggled to just accept, I wasn't the man tonight. I got a good start, but I'm still going to get a podium.
Very good point.
Yeah.
And I've seen it, like you said, I've seen it numerous times. Webb's coming and you're like, oh, he's going to get in his head, and then all of a sudden something happens. And it's like, if he could just not worry, almost like he's got a review mirror, like get rid of the review mirror, get that head up, focus forward, and just look at the pit board at your lap times. I would even tell the mechanic, don't tell me the gap.
Yeah.
I can see when I come out of the turn, I can see the gap.
We know.
Just give me my lap times, because I know if I went wide in the sand section
it's faster.
and it was a 108 and I went inside, the next lap was a 107. Now I'm thinking about the right things, not what's the gap? Is he going to get me? How many laps are left? Yeah. And it's always easier said than done. But I think if Chase can just maybe have more of a game plan of not panicking and just taking what's given to him.
That's maturity.
Accept a third.
That's maturity too, right?
If you can accept
and a mindset,
not enjoy it, but accept a third for what it is. Deal with the facts. I always tell my family this when we get in an argument. Remove emotion. Let's deal with facts.
Yeah.
And so if he just goes, you know what, my tire, whatever. I had not enough tire pressure. My front tire I was losing my front tire. I was off a little bit. Not. My tires sucked and I crashed, or the power, blah blah blah. It can't be checkers
compensate
or records,
for it,
And you nailed it on the head, and that's what we've seen a lot through a lot of this group. And other than the person that we're going to talk about next, is that how do you go from winning, fall at Hangtown, last place, pass everybody, and win, and then the next weekend you're sixth place and you can't work your way to the front.
Yeah.
That blows my mind, because once I realized I could win, I'm winning. Like if I didn't win, there was a reason why. I got a bad start. I was picking bad lines. I made a wrong setup or whatever. But we can't have these checkers or wreckers moments.
One last thing. You said take the emotions out. It's about facts. Besides the very few years where someone's dominated a series, if you really go and look, if you got third at every single race, you're probably going to win the championship. There's a few years that it didn't go that way.
Cooper
Someone
Webb,
dominated.
How many times has he been right? Only won one or two races and won the championship.
But he was second, third, fourth,
That's my
second,
point.
third, fourth. And Chase went 1-1-1, crash.
Yeah.
14th.
Yep.
And all of a sudden that points lead's gone.
Agreed.
So
Interesting.
Okay, good stuff. He's definitely going to win some races. Can he put it all together? We'll see. Moving on, Colt Nichols. This is another Twisted Tea Suzuki member. Man, I like Colt. He's such a good dude. He's so talented. He was incredible on the 250. It's just been injury after injury after injury for
That's
him.
been the
He's
problem.
got to stay healthy. He's on a good bike. Hopefully he can build some momentum. I don't know what else you guys have to add there.
Yeah, it's like not coming in with too high of expectations, being realistic, and then having something to build on. And I mean, Bruce Sundstrom, when I was at Factory Kawasaki, we sat in his office. He's like, look, the first thing you have to figure out how to do is ride every race of the year.
Right.
That's the first thing, because we need to sell Kawasaki's, and we need you at every race, right?
Yep.
And that if you miss a race, there's chances of you not winning the championship is, it goes away.
Yeah.
Okay. So first off, and then worry about how to be on the podium, and then worry about how to win, right? Type of thing. But for so many of these guys that we're going to talk about here coming up, guys that ride 6 races, injured, all this sort of stuff, it's like you have to take all of the laps. Like Justin Cooper, we're going to talk about him in a little bit, but I mean, he rode every race last year. He was the only 450 guy that made every race.
I saw that stat.
Only one guy
Right.
rode every race last year?
That's
But
pretty
I
crazy.
think you're going to see that stat not really going. It's going to be very few guys that do everything, because this is what took Aaron Plessinger out. He just ran himself into the dirt. He did every round for 2 years up to that point, and now they've added the SMX play. It's just too much racing, and these guys get worn out and their body fails.
Then why do they go to Europe and run there?
Money.
Money.
Well, but if you're a guy like Colt Nichols, new team, you get more time.
No,
that's
what I'm saying.
Right?
I think Jason Anderson, Eli Tomac, and I think that was a way to go try the bike.
Sure.
And I agree.
I think that makes sense for those guys.
But if these guys aren't in the championship hunt outdoors, I think you're going to see them go, oh, my shoulder, I'm sick or whatever.
Got to take a plate out.
Take 4 or 5 races off, have a little break, come back, do the last couple, and then go into the playoffs, qualified in and strong.
Make money,
right?
Yeah.
It's just a lot of racing. Hey, love it or hate it, I think you're going to see more of that. We talked about Hunter Lawrence at touch early. Let's touch on him. He's another mid-career guy. I think he's right in the meat of his career. I don't think we've seen the best of him, but he's certainly not a noob. I mean, it's a bit of a question mark for me because he hasn't won, but I think this is his year. If his brother is...
You mean a title?
A title. I think if his brother's there to kind of support him and help, he's now the main focus at Honda. He could be a championship player for sure.
I mean, he's so close to Jet in so many ways, and then Jet just like had that notch better. I mean, I would say that
is he a favorite then? Am I like?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. I put him here, and here's didn't mean to interrupt you, Fro, but I put him as the guy for the championship, and here's why: the guy's never out of the top 4 every start, and in this it is so important, and he is always right there. He get beat by his brother or whatever, second, third, or fourth, but he's always in the top 5, and that's
very consistent.
That's what's going to take is consistent starts because I mean we're looking at a lot of guys. This is a lot heavier than it was when I was racing, and I even think Fro when you guys race it too.
It's thicker.
If you get a Colt Nichols to get a start, or a Justin Hill, or Malcolm Stewart, or Jose Prado, there's so many guys if they get up there.
Did you call him Jose Prado?
Yeah, Jorge.
Don't forget about that Fernandez kid.
Yeah.
Jose and Fernandez.
Jorge, close enough.
I'm just teasing you.
It's a J.
You're absolutely right. It's incredibly
kind of like
deep.
a Hefe.
It is a little bit.
Anyhow, but
Hefe,
back to Hunter is that I think Donations gave him a lot of confidence. I think him racing in Australia got a lot of confidence. Also, him knowing that his brother's not there is another rider that is going to go. I don't have to beat my brother. Now he can rough up anybody on the track.
It's such a unique dynamic
Yeah.
that they both have to deal with, because they're so close, same team, all this sort of stuff. Little brother has had the better results, it's
and the fun thing is, all of these guys, pretty much everyone we've talked about, or most of them, are going, I can win. Like I'm going to be I can do it now.
That was
I don't
my
think
point
they
early
had
in the
that
show.
right, but now they have it. So
it was
really
how do we
changes it.
beat Jet? Now it's I can win.
I can win this.
I think Hunter, if you were to chart out his results on a graph, it's like this steady climb, right? Jet kind of went raw, and he went straight up to the top. Hunter's just been this really steady progression. So it would make sense to say this is one of the primary title contenders or favorites going.
I like
into
it.
the season.
We're all picking different people so far.
Yeah.
Well, that just shows you where the series is at. It's great. Okay, moving on here. Justin Hill, Team Tedder. This guy had an awesome season last year. Probably the best I've seen him ride on a 450. Same team, no changes.
Oh, they got a new
Likes the
semi.
bike.
Did you see the new semi?
Yeah, the semi looks good. So that's good.
That's cool though.
A Tedder electric money coming
Little history. Matt Tedder and I raced together at Saddleback back when we were young pros. Went down to a Supercross race put on by the college in La Paz, Baja California, and we raced it back in '78. I think I was 14.
What?
Damn. So Matt and I have known each other for a long time.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool family.
He did a lot better in business than I did, though. He can
Better career choices.
Yeah, it happens.
Well, Justin Hill, every now and then he's that guy that pops off the fastest qualifying lap.
Yep.
And so he has that speed, that type of thing. So where would you put Justin's over under? Where's his ceiling? Could he win a main event?
Yes. If he gets a whole shot and we get enough of these guys taking not taking each other out, but concerned about them.
Say enough rain.
But Justin's the type that if he has that sprint, he's also in great shape. Between Dakota Tedder and Matt Tedder and the whole Tedder family, they're going to give him all the best equipment that he can have. Mm-hmm. I think we're going to. And now that he knows that Jet's not there, once again, if I can get out front, no one's coming after me. So I think let's put him down for a race.
It's fair.
I was teammates with Josh Hill, and one thing I realized is those two may be pretty underrated as far as just natural ability.
Unbelievable.
Like I watched Josh Hill at the Yamaha test track on the 250F doing things that me and Reedy couldn't do on the 450.
Yeah.
And we were both kind of like, how the hell is he doing that? Yeah. And I remember that one Anaheim where he ran Stu down when the L&M. Stu was the number one rider. Josh was number two, and he ran him down, passed him, made it look easy. And I'm like, not many people have ever done that.
No.
Yeah. Right.
So I think that the Hill family has a lot of natural talent. And someone like Justin, like you said, just you have one of those days with the sun, the moon, the stars all align. He could blow some minds.
Yeah, I mean, and it happened last year for the next rider on the list, Malcolm Stewart, right? That Malcolm was knocking on the door so many times, and what was it? It was night for Super Bowl. That's all I remember.
Tampa, wasn't it Tampa? He won.
I think so. Yeah, in Florida.
Yeah.
I remember it was in Florida.
Everybody was stoked. I actually have a really cool picture of the podium celebration down there in black and white. Great.
You knew
night.
that one was coming. It felt like it took a lot longer, but you knew it was coming. And then that night, it was like, whoa, he made that look easy. Like he didn't just win. Like he dominated.
He whipped everyone's ass.
He put everyone in a frenzy that night. And then it's like you expect a little more of it. And same thing with Malcolm. He's been a little inconsistent in recent years. And I don't want to insinuate that sometimes I question his dedication. I think he works hard in that. But he's a hard one to read. You know what I mean? Like there's times I'm like,
how much does
he
want
really
it?
care?
Yeah.
Is he thinking about fishing and what he's going to do next? I don't know. Like with Malcolm, and again, he's popular with the fans, the media. He's always kind of laughy, joking. I know sometimes that can be taken as, oh, he's not serious or he doesn't care. And that's why I said I don't want to insinuate anything. But there are times I'm like, I can't put my finger on him.
Well, he's at Alden's. You know he's doing work. Like he's putting in the effort.
Sometimes maybe too much.
The thing that you got to ask is what's he willing to risk to win? You know what I mean? And some guys were like, I'm going to ride within my limits, and other guys are like, I'm gonna ride that ragged edge.
Yeah, I'll crash.
And I feel like he
trying
doesn't.
to win.
Yeah, he didn't have that last year. That one night he was flawless and won. He also went to Bercy and crushed everybody.
Yeah.
Maybe that's leading into a great season for him in 26.
Well, but imagine what it's being James Stewart's little brother. I mean, the guy that I think evolved, took our sport and did a massive 4-step up when it came to technique and what some people might call crazy stuff. But sitting back and watching that, but also watching all the turmoil and the ups and downs and the injuries and all the different stuff, Malcolm has come in and I like the attitude, but it's time to pitch that attitude. I don't want to hear him talk about, I'm just doing this to get another fishing boat and go fishing. No, you're here to win races. Yeah. And because you're capable of it. What he did in those when we've seen him hit on all 8 cylinders, if it's an 8 cylinder, if it's a V8, he's phenomenal. I mean, the scrubbing, the whoops, his whoop speed is second to none. So that's a huge thing. I wish they put longer whoops back in. That would probably favor his riding style. He's bigger, stronger guy. But don't give me that excuse of I'm here to go fishing and have a good time. No, you're here to win races and you're capable of it. So be the champion that you deserve and make the Stewart family proud, because you can see Big James. He's got a big smile on his face when Malcolm does well and stuff like that. So for me, when I watched him, I cried, because being in his brother's shadow, for him to make it out as late as he did, I can't imagine how that felt for him. And James was speechless. Like, James, what do you got to say about that? Man.
Yeah.
Man.
He was probably choking up.
Exactly. Yeah. Because think about it. Mookie took a back seat and was fishing and doing his thing while James was a superstar. And now I want to see him come out and be that guy, because he can be.
Yeah, for sure. He's got the talent. This one, I'm curious to hear you guys' take. Jorge
Prado. Sorry, my bad. Jorge.
I tell people this all the time regarding Jorge and the disaster that was 2025. 2 things can be true at one time, okay? He didn't handle things at Kawasaki probably the right way last year. There's a respectful way to say, I'm not comfortable, I'm not happy, this isn't what I'm not getting the feeling that I want. But also, this guy's a multi-time world champion. He is insane on the motorcycle, okay? So to write him off or say go back to Spain, it's like that's ridiculous. Like, calm down. He's already said as soon as I got back on the KTM, I got the feeling that I wanted, that I was missing. He's never ridden anything but an Austrian bike since he was a kid, so maybe that transition was just too tough to make, and maybe he'll always have to ride a steel frame. I don't know. Where are you guys picking him? Because I think he can be top 5 in Supercross, and that's a tall order.
Yeah.
And I think he can win races outdoors and be top 3 overall this year.
I agree with that.
I agree with that.
All I can do is think like what I went through. And when I was just turned 16 in Europe, I signed with KTM. And people were like, dude, that's suicide. Like, that company's coming out of bankruptcy. But KTM threw everything they could at me. And I remember going, I've never tested, because I don't have a production rule. So there was like 8 frames, 7 swing arms. Like, it was like, dude, I came from South Africa. When we crashed, we bent the handlebars back so they were straight. And now you guys are asking me which bend and flex I want. I'm like, I don't know. But from that age of like 16 to, late teens, I think you could all agree is probably where you progress the most, around 16, 17,
Agreed.
18. I felt like my style molded around the KTM. When I went to the Japanese brands, especially when they went 4-stroke, I struggled. I couldn't get the feeling I wanted in the turning. Even with Yamaha, I know when the Cowie, Mitch's team went to the aluminum frame, I struggled. I was getting arm pump. And I just kept thinking, man, there was something that I molded myself to on the KTM. Remember when I came over, you were like, I don't even know how you're riding this thing. It's a pile. And I'm like, I don't know what you guys are talking about. Like, because it's what I knew and what I'd molded my style. And I think Prado is probably in very much the same boat. And I do believe that he gave up. I don't think he gave it everything, because he's way better than that, what he put out.
Absolutely.
So I was disappointed in that. I will say that. And I think he deserves some of the criticism. Like, put in an effort. My dad would have backhanded me if I put in that kind of effort.
Yeah.
And he would have fired me from the team. So I think now the excuse book is out the window. He has to shit or get off the pot. Like, this is a make or break for his career. And this is
if he doesn't, then it's like, it's actually you.
Yeah. So it's a big year for him. Like, I know he can handle pressure. I mean, he's a multi-time world champion, so we know he can handle pressure. But he even has to know that people are watching. He's under the microscope. And but I do believe he's going to be a lot better on the KTM, because just mentally he knows that's his home. And I think KTM took the risk, because some people were saying to me, why the hell would KTM pick up that guy? He sucks. I'm like, you'll see why.
You'll see why.
How many titles with him? With KTM?
Two 250 titles and 2 Premier Class titles.
Is it 4 total?
It's either 3 or 4.
Yeah.
I thought he won
Either
2.
way.
Okay.
That's impressive.
Okay.
2 Premier Class titles, 2 MX1 titles.
And he beat Hurlings and Fevre and everyone.
He was
Americans have a bad history of doing that, like discrediting the GP guys.
Okay, so
maybe back in the 80s when they rode with their elbows down, and I don't know, those guys were still fast. Gabors and Joe Bailey, they were still badass.
As long as there were no doubles, they were good.
Yeah. Okay.
But
Let me ask you this though.
Corners.
So you guys know about the 10,000 hour rule, right? Like, you want to be a virtuoso at someone, you got to log in the 10,000 hours. So, guy like Prado, growing up in Spain, riding GPs well into his 20s, is he missing something because he doesn't have the 10,000 hours of Supercross specifically that the other riders have?
So that's where I was.
Because he missed the 250 class.
Right. Well, he missed the 250 class.
250
and I
Supercross.
think in the 250 class Supercross is where you learn your race craft, your edginess, your arena cross, your banging elbows. And that's where I think he's going to be fast. He's going to qualify well. But when you start racing these guys like Cooper Webb and Kim Roczen and stuff like that, you better have your elbows up and your race craft has to be there. It's not enough just to be good, talented, and fast. You have to know when to block, when to protect, when to move over, and all the different stuff. And he doesn't have that to me.
I feel like it might be even deeper. That's all great stuff, RJ. But it's, man, I think back to you're coming down the tunnel into the stadium. It's getting cool. You got your jacket on, the lights, a little bit of moisture in the air. you're in that arena. I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about that. Look at that paint.
Yeah.
I'm just taking.
I was getting anxiety as you were saying.
Yeah, he's like he's getting arm pump over here. But it's a different environment it's a different environment than racing pro motocross,
GPs.
Grand Prix, all that. And so what my question is does he not have the experience? He's got the talent and all that, but everything that happens from here up,
Agreed.
he doesn't have that experience of, winning or failing in the 250 class and riding it for 2, 3, 4 years, however long 250 guys ride. And then they go, yeah, I wasn't going to go there. But so he skipped that. So yes, he's credentialed, world champion, all this sort of stuff, but he missed all of that development that comes into 250. And now we have riders that are riding, is it Supercross Next is what we're calling it now?
Yeah,
Futures,
SMS,
whatever.
yeah, Futures,
SMS Next. So where the Cole Davies and kids like this, Deegans and everybody, they rode a few Supercrosses, riding SMX, all that. So they're getting all this experience before they get to the premier class. Right? He just kind of went straight to there.
Yeah.
And I feel like that might be part of the issue.
I agree.
Well, the only other guy I can think that even did that was Albie, and his Supercross career was rough. I mean,
it was exciting.
It was exciting.
But if LB had come over and not done Supercross, I think you guys would have had a tough time beating him outdoors. But he was injured.
Yeah, I wanted him to ride Supercross.
Yeah,
It was going to make his summer a little bit easier.
So it's true. I mean, I still remember Anaheim 01. You and I were teammates, KTM, walking out there that night. Everyone was like, "You excited?" I'm like, "I'm shitting myself."
Yeah.
Like it was. I'm like, I've done a lot of laps at the test track. I felt decent with, I wasn't there like, oh, I'm going to win, but I'm like, I know I can ride and I'm decent and I'm looking for a good result. But when everything happened, I was like,
it's a lot.
Holy shit.
Well, that's why
this is you can mentally prepare yourself, but when the reality hits, you're like, oh boy, this is different.
but you either you walk into that stadium and all of a sudden it's like, Jeremy in the new documentary we have coming up, Moto 90s, don't want to miss it next year. He just was like, he thrived on that. He couldn't wait to get down the tunnel, and now he's processing it. All, where some of the rest of us are like, oh shit, like we're in a different place.
Yeah.
And that's why I think with a guy like Prado is I wonder if he just hasn't acclimated to that environment where he's
he's only done, he did a couple of mud races. I think he's only done, he said 3 or 4 Supercrosses that weren't mud.
Yeah.
Well, and that's the deal. If you're behind already because you missed a whole development part of Supercross, and there is a distinct difference between riding motocross and Supercross. Sure. Yes, it's the same riders, bikes, all this, but it is a totally different animal. And so he didn't have that, and then he doesn't ride every race. Like, I'm quite sure that Bruce Rundstrom at Kawasaki had the same conversation with Jorge last year. Like, hey, we got to ride every race because he needs that experience.
He needs the gate drops.
Right.
Like, we don't want you to ride the LCQ every night to get extra laps in, but you have to do, you have to make sure you don't get injured. You got to ride every race. You got to, and he missed all of that.
Yeah.
But he has some good teammates to learn from now as well. Like, think about last year, Anderson was kind of MIA half the time, and I don't know if. I don't feel like the whole team, when you look at it, no one complimented anyone, if that makes sense. I think now he's like, I'm the third guy on the team, at least in Supercross. Like, Eli's the guy who's supposed to be the KTM man, AP right there, and I'm just kind of that wild card. So I think everything's setting up to, like you said, get the gate drops, come in like, hey, all we want to do on first race is finish 20 minutes plus a lap in the main event, whatever the position is. If it's 14th, it's 14th. If it's 8th, cool. We got something, and then he's just got to chip away. And then if he can build through Supercross, I do believe he's for sure a podium guy outdoor on most weekends.
Agreed. Now that he knows the tracks, he knows the process, I think
if you were Ian Harrison, is that how you would approach it? If you were team manager at KTM, you say, hey, look, we need to ride every race. We're shooting for top fives, like whatever the number is? Or are you like, hey, we've paid you a shit ton of money. You're a former world champion, and we expect you to win.
Well, I don't think they paid him anything, so
I think for
he's,
Supercross, it's just get through it.
Yeah.
Learn.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what Ian's going to say, but I would think Ian's going to say a little bit along the lines of what I'm getting at is, hey, don't stress. Put in the effort. All we ask, I would say all I ask of all is put effort. If I see you floundering around, riding like a wanker,
sending you home.
Yeah, I'm deporting you, calling ICE.
Wow, you went there.
He went there.
All right.
Too soon?
All right.
All right, anyhow.
Well, I think it's going to be an interesting storyline watching Jorge because there is a lot of pressure on him. I think everybody's going, okay, were you full of crap last year or do you really have it? You just weren't feeling something. So we'll see.
Yeah, he's got a lot to prove.
Yep,
for
absolutely.
sure.
Probably more to himself than anyone.
The other star Yamaha rider, Justin Cooper, like you said, only rider to make every round last year, was super fast, had top qualifying times at different events, had some podiums, has not gotten a win.
Gets great starts.
Great starter, great fitness. He kind of has all the pieces. What's it going to take for him to win a race?
Just confidence, and once again with missing Jet Lawrence, that puts the win that much closer. But there's also a big stack of guys that he's got to beat. And what I like about Justin is that he seems like when he gets a whole shot, he doesn't tighten up. Like you don't hear him come off and go, "Oh, I got arm pump, I got that." He goes fast.
Rides well from the front.
Exactly.
That was just in my mind when you said that.
Oh, sorry.
There we go.
Yeah.
We're thinking,
Jeff was going to say that first.
No. I wasn't going to say it. I mean, that's what I was thinking. And so, is there a race on the schedule this year where he gets the start? And like you said, he may need just a little bit of help. Guy goes down in second, maybe he needs that win from the front to go, oh, I can do this, right? And then 5 races later he starts 6th and wins. Those types of scenarios. So what is it going to take for Justin Cooper to win?
Well, I think one of the things he should remind himself is if you go even look last year, his teammate was the champion. There were races where Justin was quicker than Cooper went.
Yeah, getting out
on
of
the
his
same
way.
bike, same team, everything. And I would just try to remind myself, you don't have to be dynamic or breaking lap records or winning every heat. I get good starts. I ride well from the front, and my pace is right there.
And I'm fit.
And So I think he's just got to almost not think too much about the win and more about doing what he's good at. If he puts the pieces together, he's going to be a very competitive guy.
And I would say one of his advantages is that he's kind of stoic. It doesn't seem like a guy that has a lot of highs and lows. He's just kind of does his thing, And that if he could use that to his advantage and keep up the consistency that he's had, and third one week, okay, second's the goal next week.
His wife flies him to the races on a private jet. What's to be wound up about?
And she's hot.
I'd be stoic too. I'd be like, what up? Okay, I got him in our noob category because he's a really sophomore season, but he is more experienced side of that. A real noob, Garrett Marchbanks. Fill-in spot at Kawasaki. This guy's earned it. He's put in great rides on a 450. Went back to the 250, which is like a gorilla riding a tricycle. He's a big kid.
Right.
Uh-huh.
And now he's got a shot on the factory team. I'm excited for him. He's a good dude.
How can he do? I still laugh at the way Kawasaki introduced everyone. Chase Sexton in Kauai on the beach with his paddle tire. Oh, Marchbanks, get in front of the face of the triple jump. We got to take a photo. Just remind everyone. Yep, there's our six. I'm like, gee, I wonder who the favorite is. Yeah. But obviously he's the number 2 there. But I agree with you.
They went with that front of the triple. They had another one where he was in front of a porta potty. They just thought because it was like number 2.
Exactly.
There we
So,
go.
but yeah, okay. So first year riding the big bike full time. He's ridden it once or twice before.
He was at
or was
club,
that just in
right?
motocross?
And he was a 450
trying to
guy.
remember, yeah, okay.
Yeah, he rode it for a
Yeah,
bit.
so he's got some experience there. So Marchbanks have the talent to get a podium.
Yes, absolutely. Because here's the thing: is that he was like, remember when he was on a mini bike, he was crushing everybody. Like my partner in my military business has a track back in North Carolina, and he said Marchbanks would come there on the 80 and kick everybody's ass on 450s. He was just such. But then he did that Adam Cincerello thing, and grew and got so damn big. Mm-hmm. But then he had some injuries and stuff like that. So having early success, then down, I think he's going to appreciate it. And as you said, being a big guy, handling the bike, and I think we're going to see a definite podium guy out of him because he can get the starts. I think they're so fast that's not going to hurt him on getting to the first turn like he did on
That was his trouble last year. He could not get a top 10 even. He was always mid-pack.
So with Marchbanks on Factory Cowie with Chase Sexton, we talked about last year with Prado and Jason Anderson where just maybe a lot of things were disjointed and there wasn't a really good chemistry. I mean, we all weren't there, of course. We're kind of looking at it from the outside in. But do you think that the personalities between these two work together, be teammates? I mean,
No.
you know what? If you've never been in a factory rig before, I mean, you've got your locker area, right? And it's like you're getting dressed next to the guy as your teammate, but you're also racing against them. I mean, I had Mike Craig as a teammate in 94, I guess it would have been. And it was like, I'm pretty OCD about everything. And I'd come back from riding, and all my CDs and stuff were out because Mike had been touching my stuff. And I'm like, don't touch my stuff. You know what I mean?
Who touched my drumstick?
Yeah. But
I know someone
so
did.
do we think that that's a good pairing, or is that irrelevant? Each rider has to go do
I don't
thing.
think it's a good pairing. I think that Chase has a very tight-knit group with what he does, and I don't think that he's going to want to allow anybody to take any sunshine from him, which that's fine. I think Marchbanks is going to be over there doing his thing, and he's going to shock some people. And when the number 2 guy comes and whips the number 1 guy's ass, it's a different – and then the number 1 guy feels like – and I'm not saying he's going to come out and whip Chase. He's not there yet. But if he does at a race and Bruce stops and talks to him first and Chase is sitting over there disappointed about what happens, the whole dynamic changes. When I came to Honda and Johnny and David were there, and then, I mean, Dave Arnold and Roger were really good about juggling all 3 of us. You know, like I didn't care if they went to Johnny first or
Did they pit you guys against each other for like a competitive?
No, Johnny and David pitted themselves against me because I was the new guy. And then those guys did everything together. They ran together. They hung out together. Their girlfriends at the time hung out together, all the different stuff. And there was me. You know, I went up there and tried to train with them, and they about killed me. And I'm like, I can't do that. They were in such good shape. I'm like, and they knew that Hondaland track, and I didn't like it. And
Well, they were told to stay away from the bad boy.
That's right. You better.
So they listened.
Better.
I think sorry, were you done?
No, but yeah, I don't think that the team I don't think the team is going to be this great dynamic between the 2 of them. That's just the way I feel.
Yeah.
I think there's one positive. For Marchbanks, Chase Sexton is kind of the bar, like as far as speed and talent goes. So he's going to be at the same test track, the same test sessions. So he's at least got that carrot of what the level and intensity is. I do remember I was actually – it was after a race somewhere. It was me. I was talking with Mitch Payton, and it was when Tedesco was helping Marchbanks. Mm-hmm. And I happened to walk up, hey, guys, and kind of walked in on this conversation and realized it was a little deep. And it was pretty much Mitch was questioning Marchbanks' worth ethic. And a lot of times kids that have a ton of talent get away with it because they have so much talent they can win. And then when everyone now is on that same level of pro, good bikes, everything, you need more than just talent these days. And I kind of remember Ivan saying he doesn't work hard enough. And that was one of Mitch's biggest gripes, and Mitch let him go. Mm-hmm. And it was a lot to do with, I think, that conversation. What I have heard is I think Marchbanks has realized I thought I was working hard, but in reality I really wasn't. So if he's there with Sexton, I mean, I remember when I was at Factory Yamaha, Chad Reed was L&M Yamaha. So we were at the same test track, different teams, but same test track. And I remember thinking, I'm not packing up or taking my gear off until Chad's done. And I'm like, this motherfucker does not stop riding. I'm like, don't you have to go to a cycle or go to the gym or something? I'm like, we got here at sunrise and the sun setting and you're watering the track. But I remember thinking, I'm not leaving. Like, if that's what he's doing, I have to at least do the same so that when I go to bed and wake up, I can go, I believe I can beat these guys because I've put in the work. You know, to me, that's part of the mental game is knowing that. And I think for Marchbanks, the one positive is going to be is here's a guy who's won, here's the bar, and I get to check on that bar every time we go out. And I think that they may not be buddies or hang out or go to dinner or anything like that, but I think it's going to pull Marchbanks into that mindset of what a real top 450 guy does and how to do it.
And agree is that I don't think the dynamic's going to be great between the two of them, but it's definitely going to raise his bar because when you go, that's how fast the fastest guy goes through the whoops. That's the lap time I got to beat. So it's definitely going to put him. He's going to want to jump and chase his airstream and pull him into the thing. But as I said, is there going to be this chummy Johnny O'Mara, David Bailey?
I agree with you. I don't think so.
I'm curious if they'll even be around each other outside of at the races and on occasional test days. I mean, Chase is what, at the Sandbox back east?
What trading places do they work?
I'm not sure which one he's even at now, but he's back east. I think Garrett will probably stay out here. I don't know. I don't know what his plan is.
I mean, he has a good relationship with the Club MX guys. Maybe he makes that his East Coast home. I don't know.
Is there any advantage with both the guys kind of being built the same height, like things like that when working on spec and?
I mean, that always helped with like
setups.
Brock and I. We were roughly the same size and things like that, even though our bars and our setups were slightly different. But you could, you get the idea.
That's why I struggled in my rookie season. I had a midget as a teammate. And
the bike setup.
Everything
totally
was, hey,
different.
GL, we got a lowering link. Hey, we got a low cut seat. Hey, we cut your subframe. Why? Pingree likes it.
It's sprung for 130.
Well, that'd be interesting. I'm glad that Marchbanks has a great opportunity like this, and hopefully he can.
And I think he'll try to take advantage of it. Yeah, I think he will.
He figured out the work part. He's been a workhorse the last couple years.
I've heard that he wasn't the hardest worker, and then I've heard he's realized that and made an effort on that.
Mitch doesn't hire you back unless you figure that component out. For him to fire someone and then hire him back,
that's pretty rare too.
Pretty rare.
Yep.
I want to just touch on Beta. Those guys, we talked to them at the media day. They have made a lot of improvements to the motorcycle.
They took the headlight off.
Headlight's gone.
And sweet, the license plate.
What about the horn? Jeez.
According to Benny Bloss and Mitch Oldenburg, huge improvements in the bike, particularly on the engine. So be interesting to see how those guys do.
Well, and I'm joking. I'm being totally sarcastic on that. But a bike that's been known for enduros and all the different stuff, for those guys to come in, especially Benny, what is he, like 7'14"?
At least.
I mean, he's giant.
Yeah, he's tall.
But he rides and Oldenburg too, they ride the hell out of those things. And so the power's got to be there. They're getting through the whoops just like everybody else. So kudos to them. That Beta's a small factory, a small team. And for those guys to come out like that, that just shows that the bike is comfortable. Once again, like the Suzuki, it's not nothing like a Suzuki. But what my point is that if you make a bike comfortable to ride, everyone can ride it. I think if you have the performance curve that is like this, which I feel that's what the Kawasaki's like, it's great. One step too far, it's down here. Or if you make a bike that if you go over a little bit like the Suzuki and stuff, it's okay.
The adjustability
and the rideability is there.
Yeah.
So kudos to them. And once again, I think we're going to see them in main events all the time.
Yeah, I agree.
So what's a win for either Benny or Oldenburg?
I think they both will get top 10s.
Top 10.
But to RJ's point, I think a 5th place is a win for the team, for those riders. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm pulling for them. I like seeing underdogs do well, and Beta's definitely the underdog. And, they don't have superstar riders.
I almost feel like there's a Beta franchise on the table here that he's not telling us about.
Well, there's someone that's got it in North Paris. That's our main competition.
Oh, damn Perry.
It's a battle for Paris, California.
Trying to win over the parasites.
Oh, my goodness.
I want to get us.
Okay.
Oh, my. Off the rails.
All right. Well, I really enjoyed my last show on Whiskey's Throttle.
Yeah, thank you so much. Goodbye.
There's a lot of great privateers, too. We've already run pretty long. I don't want to drag this out.
I got 2 questions, though.
Shoot.
I don't want to interrupt, but this is
you
really
already
important.
did, so go for it.
So, first one, how many different riders, win a main event this year? I want to go on the record.
I was going to say the same thing.
Yeah, we're like this.
I already had a number in my head. 7.
There's 7? All right, so he's on.
I wanted to say 8 because 8 is great.
I'll say 6.
I'll say 7. If it's a mutter, I'm going to bring in Plessinger.
So is it 7 or 8?
I'm going to say 7.
7.5?
7.5. 7.5.
We're doing the over under.
Going once.
I'm gonna go 6. I'm gonna go 6, but
6,
yeah.
6, 7,
okay.
7.
And who's
Before
we wrap? Who's your championship pick?
I haven't physically seen
You're
these
putting
guys
the
lately.
dealership pink slip on the line. Who do you put it down on?
Gosh,
One name.
it's really this. We say
Shut
all
up
the time.
and give us a name.
Stop talking, Grant. Jesus, just a name.
There's that anxiety again. The lights are on. The tunnel's there. I'm going to go with Chase.
Okay.
Hunter.
That's my gut feeling.
He's still talking.
He's still going. We just wanted a name.
Oh, sorry. Sexton.
Hunter Lawrence.
I'm going with Cooper, and you're picking.
Hunter Lawrence.
Ah, 2 Hunters.
Okay, so then my last question here before we wrap it up: how many wins will it take to win the title?
5.
How many wins does Hunter Lawrence? How many is he going to need to win the title?
5.
5. Oh, 5.
What about you, Gio? What do you think?
3.
3 only.
If Hunter wins, I don't think he wins more than 3 races, but I think he gets a lot of.
Your guys, you're already jumping shit. See?
He's already bailed
No.
out.
I was saying, you were saying how many does it take to win? Oh, my guy's going to win like 17. No, I still think Chase wins the championship, and I think he wins 7.
Ooh.
Okay.
Ooh. That's
I would say Coop wins about 5 or 6. I think it's just consistency for him.
So
He's on the box almost every
Cooper
week.
Webb wins his 4th title. Is where you're going.
Looking, I've learned 3 times don't bet against Cooper Webb, and so I'm not going to do it again.
He was
with
on.
Jet out.
He was on Kelshi earlier. He was looking at the odds.
Wow. I mean, there's so much there. There's, and we've all been in these positions. Everyone's going to win at this point, right? Everyone's bike is amazing. And
Everyone's tied for the lead right
Everyone's tied for the lead, all that. And so much happens in such a short period of time with Monster Energy Supercross. It's like, hell, we could have Justin Cooper, who's never won a main event before. He goes and wins A1, and then, 5 wins or something later. You're like, whoa, what just happened? And this guy's hurt. This guy's.
It reminds me of the NFL before the first game. Oh, this team looks phenomenal. Blah 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 blah. They get their ass handed. Oh, I didn't see that one coming.
I do think with the lineup that we have, I mean, this is a great field. Even with Jet injured, it is really competitive. It's been so exciting these last few years. There's just something about the intensity that has, man, it just seems like it keeps building.
For sure.
Guys are going to get hurt. So who's the guy that's going to be able to ride every race? It's going to be like Villapoto, where he wins the title and doesn't even ride every race, right? You got to be there every weekend.
I have one question because I'm genuinely
Well, I have
curious.
a question. How
Hold
many
on.
wins? He didn't answer.
How many wins?
How many wins will it
Hunter's
take?
going to win the
wins- how
title.
many
I
wins
wrote
will it
down
take?
5. Look, I already wrote down 5 right there.
You wrote down 5. Okay,
So
so both of us 5.
I do have a question, and I guess it could be it myself too. Is there a reason no one picked Tomac? Just serious question. I kind of feel like it's because I'm not sure, and I'm worried he's maybe just cresting that. Like he's not going to get faster, and I'm worried maybe he just doesn't quite have.
But he has consistency, right? He's
Really on paper.
figured out
What
a
are we
lot.
doing? He's probably none of us. That is weird.
Yeah.
Good question.
It was more just like I'm thinking, why didn't I and why didn't you guys?
I mean,
maybe we're all eating crow here in about 6 months.
It won't surprise me
I'll
at
be
all.
the
No,
first-
none of us are going to be like, can you believe Eli won on a KTM?
No. But the thing that I think the reason that we didn't is because we all feel that he's a little hung up on his own ways. I want a cable clutch, and I want a paddle tire, and I want to drop the hammers as hard as I possibly can. And I don't think in this environment that's gonna make it happen.
The reason I think that I didn't pick him or Chase is just because they have all of this newness that they've got to adapt to, and they're going to have to figure out settings. They're going to go to a mud race and go, I don't know. I don't have notes to look at from last year. Where Cooper Webb and
Kenny
Chase and Kenny,
Hunter, and
they can look. They've got all the notes in the world. They're ready. Whatever gets thrown at them.
I'm still sticking to my choice.
Yeah, no,
I think
good choices.
that it's time for Hunter to be his own champion. The little brother's out of the way.
He was the hunted. Now he's the hunter.
Dun, dun, dun.
All right, end the show. Drop that. I don't know how we. Yeah, I can't match that.
Hey, thank you guys for joining me. This was a lot of fun. I think we're looking at an amazing season. I hate to see Jet out, but it kind of does open this thing up.
But if he comes in during the season, that makes it exciting because he's not in the championship, and now he's just a spoiler.
Yeah.
So I think that's cool too.
Blocking for his brother.
Yeah, who knows?
Brother.
All right. Well, listen, I want to thank our sponsors one more time. El Jefe Energy. Thank you guys. Check these guys out. They're going to come into stores to you soon. Rockform, Pro Circuit, Trolley Designs, ODI, Langston Motorsports, and get over to rickyjohnson.com and sign up for that A2 experience.
boy.
Yeah, get that
As
A2
well
experience.
as
What
get all
you
your Bad
want.
Boy Club gear everywhere, all you need, right at Ricky Johnson.
It'll be in Langston Motorsports soon when he bothers to get over there.
Where you can also buy a Honda soon.
Yeah. Maybe a Beta.
You heard?
The word is out.
You heard?
All right, guys. Thank you so much. Appreciate these folks. See you guys at Anaheim 1.
If you like this video, please be sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of our future videos, comment what you thought, and share it with your friends.